YouTube, what's going on? My name is Kevin the Tech Ninja, and today I'm reviewing the ASUS ZenFone 2. In the last few years, it's been great for consumers looking to ditch their contract. For the very first time that I could remember, we finally have comparable phones for even less than half the price. And a lot of times people want to know, why are these phones so cheap and how do they compare against these flagship phones? Well, hopefully during this review, we're going to find out. The ZenFone 2 borrows a lot of design elements from the LG G4. The material is matte plastic and the design of brushed metal. I think plastic that is designed to look like metal is pretty cheesy, but the ZenFone does it right. It's not slick at all, and it has sort of some grit to it, so it feels nice. Continuing the theme of faux metal, the front chin has a unique design. When the light hits it, you can see a nifty spiral effect. The front chin makes the phone long. On some devices that has a chin, that space is used for something, like front-facing speakers or even buttons. Not here, the chin is just bare. Now speaking of buttons, the ZenFone is using them instead of on screen. I really don't like capacitive buttons, but if you're going to use them, make sure they're done right. Besides it not being placed on the chin, I think ASUS did the right thing. The buttons are the perfect size, and also the back arrow is on the left-hand side. Yes! Large bezels, ASUS logo at the top, and silver speaker grille makes for one boring front. Flipping the phone over is where things can get pretty interesting, starting with the colors. The ZenFone 2 comes in an array of different colors, from black to red to gold to gray. All these have the same plastic faux metallic build. Also, there are two flavors on the ZenFone. There is a 64-bit 1.8 quad-core processor with 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB of storage. And also there is the 2.3 GHz 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of storage. Since I'm a reviewer, I really like to get someone else's opinion on these devices because sometimes I can be a bit nitpicky, and also I know what to look for in a device. So I brought my buddy, Big Homie Joe. I gave him the phone with no instructions, no rundown of specs or anything like that, and I asked for his opinion throughout the day. Now I'm going to trickle in his responses next to my responses, so from there you can get a great understanding of what things we both agree on and what things we don't agree on.
Big Homie Joe, I'm out here with the Tech Ninja. We're looking at this phone, he gave it to me. It's a ASUS ZenFone 2. ASUS. I say ASUS. Every time I say it, I think of Jesus. Jesus. So.
What do you think about the design, just how the buttons are laid out so far?
First thing I thought when I grabbed the phone is I noticed a button on the back. It reminded me of the G4 that he just reviewed. I'm not a big fan of the button on the back, but I'm just not used to using it. It feels like it's made out of good quality material. It doesn't feel lightweight. It's not sliding around, so it's pretty cool.
The ZenFone 2 uses a 1080p IPS LCD screen. The display is not terribly bright, and during this review, even in shaded areas, the display does not have enough brightness to combat the sun. The display also is 403 ppi. These specs for the screen are lower than most newer phones, but we need to keep in mind the price of this device. One option I love is that you can go into the software and change the color profile on the display. You can even go further than picking a profile. You can adjust granular controls. Overall, the colors are decent, the blacks look pretty good. However, the brightness is still an issue, especially outdoors. What about the display, like the screen?
Using it while we were out here, as you can see, we're outside, it's pretty sunny. I couldn't really see anything. I found myself kind of hunched over trying to get my head to block some of the light so that I could see the display. I can't really say it's bright. I can't say that it's real colorful because I can't really see it.
The back-facing speaker on the ZenFone 2 is pretty weak. The phone will lead you to believe that the speaker grille is large. However, after removing the back, you'll see that the speaker grille is tiny. And it doesn't even pump out clear audio. It gets loud, but overall, the quality is just bad.
I was watching a YouTube video earlier, it didn't sound bad. I wish they were front-facing speakers, but that's what everybody wishes. Everybody wishes you could have a front-facing speaker. It's not a front-facing speaker, but I could hear what they were saying, so it got the job done.
The camera on the ZenFone 2 is a 13 megapixel with dual LED flash. Things you can expect from image quality is pretty middle of the road. Outside, you get mostly good shots with the occasional blemish when dealing with dynamic range. So if I take an image of something dark and something light at the same time, the camera has an issue adjusting. Now most cameras turn on HDR automatically to combat this, but not the ZenFone. The HDR on the ZenFone is actually a shooting mode, but it does little to compensate for the issue. Indoors, the camera is pretty average. Now I got spoiled with the excellent cameras from the G4 and S6, but it's still hard for me to call this good. Take a look at this picture here. I took this picture with my ZenFone, and then a few seconds later, I took this picture with the S6. There is a huge difference in image quality. Now there are a ton of shooting modes on board with this camera, but many of them are just gimmicky, and also they're forgotten about quickly. The camera isn't good enough to get too fancy. I think the video suffered from the same issue as the camera. It's just not that great. It's very passable, but once again, using phones like the S6 and G4, you just become spoiled. With all my reviews, I'm putting images in Flickr so you can see the full resolution of them. ASUS brought Android 5.0 Lollipop to the table. And no, I'm not gonna play Flappy Droid and embarrass myself again. This is Android 5.0, so you will be missing the bug fixes from a lot of the updates that came out thus far. And I'm not sure what ASUS's plans are to update this phone since Android M is around the corner. On top of Android, ASUS has a UI called ZenUI. It feels like 5.0, but with many other skins, menus are moved around a ton, and there's also a new launcher. It also comes packed with a ton of software. Some of the utilities that ASUS provides aren't that bad, but it gets overwhelming when you first turn your phone on. You have 3 pages of applications, and you just don't know where to begin. Honestly, if I wanted to tell you everything about the software, this video will be about 30 minutes because there are so many additional menus and so many additional applications that it's really hard to discuss everything. I feel like a broken record in saying this, but I'd rather have an option for stock Android. If you're looking for benchmarks, I won't bore you with that stuff, since benchmarks has been ran on this phone several times over. But in real world usage, the phone is fast. Comparing it to other Android devices, it holds its own and provides a great experience throughout. The 4 gigabytes of RAM is amazing and makes multitasking a dream. You can even go back to apps you haven't opened for days and launch it, just like it was open 10 seconds ago. Battery life isn't great on this phone, and I can eke by a full day. Remember, this is for the 2.3 4 gigabyte version. Maybe the 1.82 gigabytes has better battery life because it's less powerful. I'm getting around 3 to 4 hours of screen on time and also maybe 12 hours or so per day. And since the ZenFone does not support Qi charging or quick charging, you're left feeling primitive, using a cord at a god-awful slow rate.
Well, for $300, now I would have figured it had been a $500–600 phone. Using it, I was playing Grand Theft Auto, I was playing this little basketball game, shooting hoops. It was pretty cool. I mean, it seemed to be fast, and when I think of cheap phones, I think they're just all slow. Using this wasn't even that bad. For $300, I think it's a pretty good deal.
The question that people always ask is this: is it worth it? Price considering, yes. How does it stand up to the HTCs and Samsungs of the world? Well, it falls a bit short, but you're paying less than half the price of these phones. Put this phone in the hands of 80% of the people and they would not complain. It's a good phone and it has great things about it, and some not so good things about it. Overall, if this was a phone you were considering, hopefully this review has helped you out. If you want to buy this phone, make sure you use the links down below, as I get a little kickback too. This helps me purchase other devices for reviews as well. Don't worry guys, I hear you. I will be comparing this phone against the Idol 3 coming up really soon. I did my review of the Idol 3 already, and that's linked down below. And when this video comparison or versus video is done, I will link that down below too. I just want to have enough time with both devices to really give you guys a comprehensive video. As always guys, my name is Kevin the Tech Ninja. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel, and also have yourself a great day. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.